Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new. My name is Ashley and I am a homeschooling mom of 4, but I am also a certified personal trainer and have worked in the fitness realm for a really long time, worked with tons of women, tons of clients, pre, postpartum, all of those things. So it's been a minute. It's been a real long while since I have done a fitness video here on my channel. When I first started my channel, I was working regularly as a personal trainer, and so I shared a lot of things back then. My channel's kind of taken different directions, but I asked you guys if you, when I mentioned in another video, sorry, I just need to adjust this a little. When I asked you guys in another video if you wanted me to talk about emotional eating, so many of you guys said yes, that it is a real struggle for you. And so I said I would make a video. So I am a woman of her word, and I'm going to make a video for you guys about it. Basically, I don't think that watching this video is going to cure your emotional eating. People that struggle with that, it's generally a pretty long process of healing and awareness and proactive choices to try to form new habits. But this video will probably just give you a little more information if you're not quite sure if that's something that you struggle with. It might just, open your eyes a little bit to it, and maybe give you a few tools to combat against it if you know that that is something that you personally struggle with. But like I said, conquering emotional eating or binge eating is a long road of healing and restoration, and it's not going to be an overnight cure-all by just watching a YouTube video. So I just wanted to preface it with that. So first, to lead into the video, we need to define what emotional eating is. So in my opinion, and professional and personal opinion, emotional eating is any time you are turning to food for an emotional comfort or an emotional release, or any other thing other than strictly just to provide your body with nutrition and energy. So some people might get upset when I say this, but rewarding your kids' behavior, good behavior with food, especially like sugary food, is a great way to set up emotional eating issues later on in life with your kids. It is something that I do not do. I do not reward my children with food. Now, that is not to say that I do not allow them to have sugar, because I do, but I never want them to equate good behavior with a food reward, because we see that so much in women who are trying to get healthy or trying to lose weight for their health or whatever. And it's, I've been good all week, I deserve to eat this thing that I know is really bad for me. And that is kind of how that starts. So emotional eating is most commonly for emotional comfort when you're experiencing stress, when you're experiencing negative thoughts or negative self-image or any of those things, and turning to food as the thing that is going to provide you with that comfort. Now, the way that people come to have an emotional eating problem is there's going to be thousands of different ways. It can be things from having really restrictive parents in your childhood. It can be things of, people body shaming you as a kid. It can be from being really overweight. It can be from living in a very unsafe and stressful environment as a child, and so you turn to food to comfort you. It can be lots of different, we arrive there lots of different ways. But emotional eating is simply when you are turning to food to help you cope with your emotions that you're experiencing, whether that be happiness, sadness, stress, whatever. And it's not just food, it's also, wine, it's also alcoholic beverages. If you want to have a glass of red wine, I don't think anything is wrong with that. And nothing is wrong with that from the fitness and health standpoint either. But if you are turning to a glass of red wine every single night because you feel like you can't go to sleep and you can't, decompress after a long day with the kids, then you might be becoming emotionally dependent on the wine. If every time you get in a fight with your husband, he goes upstairs, you stay downstairs, and you get out that ice cream and you eat half of it, that is a good way to know that you're not really handling your emotions properly, and you are, turning to a food to help you cope with your emotions. And anytime we are turning to things that are not meant to help us cope with our emotions or our situations, it's going to have a negative effect on us. Food is not designed for us to go to food for comfort. Food is meant to be enjoyed, yes. Food of all kinds is meant to be enjoyed. And, the Bible, they had meals, they had wonderful celebrations, they had all of those things. But anytime we're going to food, hoping it's going to heal our problem or help us in some way, then we know we have an emotional eating problem. So people will say, great, I know I have an emotional eating problem. I just don't know how to stop. So that is why usually when people have an emotional eating issue, they also have a binge eating disorder, and it goes together. So binge eating is anytime you tell yourself, I am going to have one, and then you keep going back and you can't stop. Or I'm only going to have 2 scoops of ice cream, and then you look down and you've eaten the entire thing. Or on the flip side, it can be restricting your food all day long. Like, I'm only going to have a little bit of this, and you're eating super low, and I don't recommend that at all. And then you come to dinner and you have a gigantic plate and you eat 5 times as much as you need to. All of those are different, ways that a binge eating disorder will present itself. But really, it's just a lack of self-control, and you just can't stop. And so the two of those together, they usually go hand in hand. So what can you do if you have that? You want to stop, but you really just don't know how. Well, the first thing is to be aware of it and recognize that you do have that problem and you do struggle with that. The second tip I would give you to deal with those things is you're going to have to heal that trauma or that issue, and that is going to take time, and you can't expect yourself to just wake up and stop, because it's going to take time to work through that and reprogram your brain and your heart to view food in its appropriate God-intended place, which is to nourish us and give us energy and let us live fully alive lives, not used as like a coping mechanism. So that takes time. But practically speaking, if you know that you have foods that are trigger foods, meaning when you start eating them, you cannot stop eating them, the biggest tip and biggest thing you can do is just not buy those foods. Now, it takes way less self-control to just leave the store without it than it does to have it in your house and know that you're going to get into it after a while, or when you have that bad day, you know it's there. Because when you struggle with emotional eating and binge eating, the first thing your brain does is think about that bag of gummy bears in the top of the pantry that you can't wait to get your hands on once your kids are not looking. And that is a recipe for disaster. You will never break through. You will never get over it. You will continue to have the same problems over and over and over again. You have to just not have it in your house. Not having it will stop you, and you'll be forced to figure out, what else can I do here? So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to leave, physically leave. If sitting down on the couch is going to lead to a binge or lead to a big emotional eating situation, do not stay downstairs after your kids go to bed. If you change your scenery and you go upstairs, chances are you changing your environment. Maybe it's not being downstairs, but maybe, you get in an argument with someone. Instead of going into the pantry, go out in the backyard, take a few deep breaths, change your scenery. That really will help. The third tip I have for you might sound completely crazy, but hear me out, you guys. If you struggle with nighttime binge eating, which is probably the most common time, brush your teeth after dinner, get into your pajamas, brush your teeth. Any type of food you put on your mouth, once you brush your teeth, it's not going to taste as good. And knowing that you've brushed your teeth can sometimes it can sometimes stop you and make your brain go, oh wait, no, we're not doing that. So that is a very practical tip. I've given that tip to a lot of clients in real life, and it has helped them if they struggle with the nighttime situation. And then the fifth tip I have for you is to speak about it. When we struggle with these things, the enemy wants nothing more than for us to keep it private, keep it secret, because then we have the shame surrounding it. If you speak it out loud, you tell your friend, you tell me here on YouTube, you tell your husband, hey, listen, I am really struggling with this and I really want to stop. I do not like how this makes me feel. Speaking out loud about it takes the power away, and it lets other people kind of hold you accountable, which is also really important. I do not think anybody can overcome emotional eating or binge eating disorder completely on their own. You have to invite somebody into that who can help you work through those situations and understand things a little bit better. So that is going to be the general gist of what I wanted to share with you guys on emotional eating. If you have any other questions for me about this, post them down below and I will get back to you guys. And again, like I said, this video is not meant to cure, whatever it is. It's just meant to open the conversation and maybe give a few practical tips to help you if you're someone who is struggling with this. My heart goes out to you. I know how powerless you can feel, like you're never going to be able to stop, but rest assured you can. You just have to be willing to do the work that it takes. But it is well worth it if this is something that you're doing on a regular basis, feeling sick to your stomach after eating because you've eaten so much. That's just not a way to live life, and my heart goes out to you. So if you need help, if you talk to somebody, share, and, get the help that you need to help you with this. There's, of course, varying degrees of severity, and each individual's pathway to recovery will depend upon where they fall on that. So I hope this video helps you guys. Let me know if it did. If you want to keep seeing fitness stuff, let me know down below as well, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.